Okay, welcome to the webinar, everyone. This week's topic is going over a commercial project, more or less start to finish. So we're not going to be focusing too much on exactly how to do everything, more so we're just going to show you what it looks like all put together. Importing a plan, drawing the rooms up, applying product, transitions, all that kind of thing. If you have any questions along the way, please fire them through. We will carve out some time at the end to answer the questions, but if they're brief, we may answer them as we go. Okay, looks like everybody's joined in, so we'll get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do when we start a commercial project is import the plan, of course. So let's do that. The plan we're going to be importing today is this one right here. It's just one page. It is part of a set that has multiple floor levels, but we're just going to deal with this one page today. All right, so I'm guessing the scale is probably 100:1. I'm just going to import it and see what happens. All right. So first thing I'll do here is I will crop it down to size a little bit. Or actually, first I might check where is the scale. Oh, there it is, 100:1. Cool, it was 100:1, but we still obviously should check that scale. So let's come up here. I like to use the measuring tape tool to double check the scale. 11.21, spot on. So it doesn't say 11.205 because I have 2 decimal places on, so it'll be rounding up to 1, but that's great. What I will do though is crop this down to size a little bit. So we'll come into Blueprint, grab the crop tool, and go from there to there. Awesome. It does say we should check the scale again, so let's do that. Yeah, it's still good. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do, probably even before we begin drawing the rooms, is make sure that we have all of our products set up. So with projects like this, often you'll get a finishing schedule. So you'll see we've got things like sheet vinyl 5, sheet vinyl 2, and so forth. So you'd go ahead and make all of them up. I've already done that in advance. So if we come and take a look at the product list, you'll see, yep, we better save that. Okay, we come take a look at vinyl. I set up all the different sheet vinyls. There's a number of tiles in this project too, floor tiles, wall tiles, and a number of different miscellaneous products as well. There's paints and wall paneling and that kind of thing. So you might go ahead and set all those up in advance. Something else that I might point out to you in here is with something like this carpet product here. Something that I've done is if you come right over here and take a look at this, the little add-on icon over in the corner. If we open that up, you'll see I have associated an install carpet add-on. So I could apply that add-on later on if I wanted, and we will be applying some add-ons. But the cool thing here is that add-on is going to be automatically applied when we use this particular carpet. So we'll look out for that in a moment. So with all of our products created, I'm going to go ahead and start drawing up these rooms. We won't worry about what product is going into the rooms initially. We'll deal with that in a moment. So the way I personally prefer to draw rooms is start with a large rectangle, and then I will punch maybe a hole out to form that bit there. I'm not being very neat at the moment, but that's fine because I can just come back in and resize this a little bit. With a corner like that, I can insert a point and then pull this guy back over here. Right. Then you might zoom around the edges and make sure everything's nice and neat. Whether you want to go at the line or a little over, that's up to you. Okay, we've got another room in here, so we might start with a rectangle for this room. And we can do that same insert point trick here. There we go. Now actually no, hold on, we have one more bit over here. I better do that one as well. There we go. What's quite neat about this plan, and a lot of retirement homes, villages, hospitals, they're going to be quite similar. This block repeats. So we can highlight those 2 rooms we've drawn. Maybe you would spend a little bit more time making sure they're neat, maybe a little bit neater than I've drawn them. And then you could highlight them We can press Control-C and Control-V for the copy shortcuts. You also have them up here on your toolbar. And so you'll see I've got a red line there outlining the room. I can use the arrow keys to rotate that room around or mirror it. So I can position it like that and then click to place. Maybe you'd zoom in after that and line it up a little bit. Then we could highlight both of them and copy and paste it down here as well. Click to place initially and then zoom in and reposition a little bit more precisely. Now, as I noticed when I was looking through this plan ahead of time, it does appear that some of the rooms are a little different from room to room. So maybe it does require that you come in here and just move things around a little bit, but that sure beats having to draw the room together, from the start, again and again. So we might do something like that. And what you could then do is copy them and paste them across all of these other rooms down here. They all look like they're more or less the same thing, maybe with a few exceptions like those columns down there. So we've got a corridor to draw. Maybe we want to do that one next. So a really quick way to do that would be to maybe do it in pieces. So we could do multiple rectangles. So we could draw a rectangle there. We could do another one down here. Maybe we come down to there. Another one there. So we can do something like that, and then we can Control-click all of them together. And then now I've added a number of tools actually up here to my quick access toolbar. But the tool I'm looking for is this one right here. So it's a join tool. And if you right-click on any of these tools, you will have an Add to Quick Access toolbar option. So that will add it up here. So on big commercial projects like this, there's probably maybe one or two tools that you're using all the time. So that would possibly make sense to add up there. So anyway, let's use that joining tool, and you'll see it's fused the corridor or those pieces into one. And that's quite useful, especially for a big long one like this one. You could draw it all as one rectangle and then go ahead and add these little bits where they jut in as rectangles, join it all together, and that would probably be quicker than going over it with line draw all the way around. We do have one other piece at the top here, so let's do that one as well. We'll do a rectangle to there and there. Right-click, Control-click, fuse it all together, and then maybe bring that bit down. Okay. Another thing that, of course, we want to make sure we do here, actually, hold on, it looks like I missed a bit there. Let's just go back in and add that one in. There we go. Another thing you would want to make sure you do here is name all of these rooms. So they all have designations on them, so we could double-click in here and call that bedroom 3, and I'm going to copy this bit right here. So just Control-C, so bedroom 328, and then I can go over here, double-click, Control-V to paste, and then write 27. So that's a neat little trick if you want to name a number of rooms and they all have very similar naming conventions. And we'd have something similar here for the ensuite. Oops, 3-28. Maybe we'd copy that, and so on. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me draw all of the rooms. So we're going to move on to, we have a second tab down here where we went ahead of time and we got everything drawn up. So it's kind of like those cooking shows where here's a cake we baked earlier. All right. So at this point, we've got all of our rooms drawn. We've gone through and named them all. Actually, a neat little trick if you want to figure out if you've missed naming a room. So the Room Explorer over the side here, if I scroll through this, I can see everything has a name. If I spotted anything in here that had 001, so let's just say, for instance, that this particular room here was actually 001, I can click on it. Then I can press Control-Shift-F, which will zoom into where that room is on the plan. And then we could double click on it and rename it accordingly. All right. Something we need to do as well is add transitions in, because what you can probably notice from here is that we have gaps in these doorways. You could draw them in yourself. You could go in and out of the doorway, but there are a number of advantages to adding transitions in manually, or putting a measure transition in as opposed to just going in and out with the perimeter. So I'm going to right click here, single transition, and click there and there. Now I'm going to say there's a punch out here. It may not be specifically relevant for this door, but there are a number of other doors where there would be wall product going around the door, and obviously having a punch out would be quite handy. So maybe we want to make it 2.1 meters high, whatever it might be, and we'll do okay. But because this is a lot of rooms that repeat each other, most of these doorways are probably all the same size. So we can take advantage of a tool called multiple transitions, which we will find up here in the room tab. And right there we have multiple transitions. So we can actually, hold on, let me just check how big was that doorway. All right, so this doorway is 1.19, okay. So let's go into the multiple transition tool. Let's go in here and say, I think, yeah, 1.19 will do. So we'll set that up. And then what we can do is click on a room, and then we can click to place a point. Now you've got to think about this in terms of clockwise. So the room, if you imagine it going around clockwise, Measure is going to place the doorway in a clockwise direction. So we would click here for it to pan out that way. And so we can just shoot through all of our rooms and quickly add these transitions in. They're all the same, at least on these main final areas in these bedrooms. So you would go ahead and do that. You do that across the entire plan. You could stop, adjust what you've got here. Maybe you want to deal with some of the bigger doorways. So type a new number in here and then just carry on. Click once to select the room, a second time to place the doorway in a clockwise direction from where you click. All right. Next thing we need to do perhaps after we've worked through all of that is apply product. So because we've set all those products up in advance, it's quite easy. We maybe look at, okay, sheet vinyl 5. So we'll just control click on all the rooms that have sheet vinyl 5. We'll come up here, go into vinyl. If you have a big list of products and maybe you've got to scroll for quite a way to find it, you may want to come up in here and type 05, and that will narrow it down. All right, so sheet vinyl 5, there it is. Corridor, that has that carpet in it, which actually has a pattern repeat on it, which is quite interesting. And this one up here is the same thing. Just while we think about pattern carpets, actually, let me see if this one's going to do it. What you may find sometimes, let me just do this for you. Sometimes when you put the product in, a pattern product, you will find that where you have two adjacent rooms that have the pattern product, it's not going to line up. When I initially went through and made this project, we found that quite a bit. So an easy way to solve that is to say maybe this is the room that you would like this one to line up with. So we can click on this room, come up here to where it says relative to room, or sometimes it'll say automatic. We have a match room option in here. So we can pop in, grab match room, and then click on this room, and it will adjust the grid. So that's how you can have pattern repeats and tile patterns matching each other. All right, very good. So let's move on to this next tab down here. So maybe now we've been through, we've added in all of our transitions, we've added in all of the product, we've allocated it, that kind of thing. Okay, maybe now we need to think about lay directions. So if we want to change lay directions quickly, let's say all of these rooms here, sheet vinyl 4, that's in this cluster down here. So if we wanted to quickly select all of the rooms that have sheet vinyl 4, we could come down here to products and see, here's all the products we're using. We could pick on sheet vinyl 4, and that will straight away select all of those rooms that have that product. And now we could say they all run south, which in this case, they actually are running south. Maybe we want to do the same for this product. So that would be the sheet vinyl 1 that we have in these little en-suites here. Maybe it would be best for them to run east, whatever it might be. So we can quickly select rooms in batch and change their lay direction in one hit. All right, maybe we want to come and look at the layout mode. So let's do that. Okay. So it looks like these rooms here have actually panned out just fine. The join is running just straight into the edge of the doorway, so that looks good. But maybe we don't like this corridor. Maybe we think it would be better, and we're assuming we don't want to split the corridor there and have a lay direction change. Maybe it would be better if all this ran east. because that's the length of the longer portion of the corridor. And then sure, we'd have some joins up here, but maybe that's how we want to do it. So let's swap that round. Here we go. There's something we can do up here. So we have a lot of joins that run into doorways. Maybe we don't want that. So if we move this out the way, for example, you'll notice that that then pushes things up, all up and down the roll. And maybe there's going to be no combination where everything misses a doorway. So what you might want to start doing is adding in your own seams where you want them. So we could right click, grab a length join and put it here. So they're going to turn to blue. So now measure is not going to move them around for us. It's purely up to us. And then we could delete that one there. We could do that all the way up and down, just making sure that nothing goes in the wrong place. Maybe we want to put one in there. Then maybe we can move that one up a little bit. The nice thing about measure as well is that all this time, it's keeping track of where that pattern repeat is. And it's making sure that no matter where we have a join, everything on the roll plan is going to get cut out of the right spot so that when this gets laid, all of the patterns line up nicely together. Okay, so let's say we go through, we double check all the seams on all the rooms, we adjust them, we add some new ones. Sometimes, like maybe you just want the seam quickly on the other side of the room, you could right click and go flip. So it's, there's some tools that make it quite quick to move through the plan, adjust the seams. Maybe this is one where we would want to rotate that to run east. We don't want joins running into the division there, and then maybe we want to flip that one as well. Okay, very good. So let's move on to this next tab. So let's say we did that. We sorted out all the lay directions and joins and such. Now, if you've looked closely at the plan, what you'll notice is that there are a lot of portions where we have product going on the walls. So we have decorative wall covering 3 and wall paneling 4 that is going on this portion, and then we have wall tiles in here. So I was referring to, there is a finishes abbreviation list up here, and normally this plan, of course, would be accompanied with a schedule that shows you what they actually are. So a lot of you have possibly seen how to add walls in. All right, so if we click on or right click on, hold on, it wants to save, we'll say yes to that. Okay, if we right click on this portion here, we have an add side option. So we could go in and pick wall tile 1. So this is really easy because I made it up in advance. So I definitely do recommend doing that. So wall tile 1, 2-4 high, that looks good, and we'll do okay. And it will give us a wall. However, in this case, we have a top and bottom product. Now I'm just taking a guess here and assuming it's half and half. If I hit the finishing schedule, it might tell me otherwise. So we can take advantage of a feature called stacks to take care of this. So when we click on the room and then we right click on this portion here, we have this option here called stacks. So stacks is, maybe a good way to think about stacks is it's kind of like a layered cake, but with flooring materials up the wall. So we've already made some stacks here to suit the different parts of the room, or different parts of the project. So we have the wall panel 4 decorative wall covering 3 combination down here. That would be the one we apply here. So we'll select that one and do insert. And there we go. You can see it's flapped open like this, just like that other one. So if you want to make a stack, we can come up to room, move across the stacks. We can go new, or you could edit one. And basically you build up your layered cake in here, so to speak. You pick a product, the height, the way it folds, then you add another one and pick another product and whatever else. You can give it a name and hit save, or okay rather. So that's how we made these. And I named them with the combinations to make them a little bit more readable. So you'd go ahead, add them to all the different places. The nice thing about stacks is that because you make it up in advance, you're just applying the same thing again and again. This plan's quite clear as well with where everything goes, so it was quite easy to work through. Maybe down here in the bottom corner, I'm making this bit up. The plan doesn't seem to indicate so, but let's say there was coving that we needed to put down here in the bottom. So I might highlight all of these rooms, come up to my coving tool up here, just in the room tab, Let's say it's 150 millimeters, and a side note, if your system is set up in meters, make sure you put the millimeters at the end. If you just type in 150, it will assume you mean meters, and you will have a lot of coving. All right, there we go. So we've added our coving in. Now you'll notice also the coving is dropping where the transitions are. So going back to, when we first put those transitions in, this is one of those reasons why transitions are great. If you add them in, now Measure knows where all those doorways are, and it can be smart, like dropping things like coving. All right. So we're going to move on to this stage 5 down the bottom here. So in this one, we've been through already and added in all of those different stacks. There's quite a lot of them, especially in this room. So if I hit on these little plus icons, it's going to expand the stack. So you can see on each of these walls, there's a stack, or a wall in some cases. So if you want to show all of the stacks, or hide all of the stacks, or walls for that matter, these two icons here, collapse all walls and show all walls, they're very useful tools to keep in mind. So you'll find them in the View tab right over here. So if we hit show all walls, you'll see there is a lot going on here. And this also shows you why it's good to hide them, because it's quite difficult to make head or tail of the plan with them all showing. So we might leave them hidden. As you probably saw me do before, you can individually show or hide a wall or a stack. One really cool thing we can do now that we actually have stacks and walls added in all across the plan is we can go into this 3D viewer up the top here. All right, and because we've put in the hard yards to add it all in, we can see it in 3D. We can see the stacks extending out of all of those rooms, and maybe you want to use this to just double check you haven't missed anything. If anything in here looked a little odd, then you'd think, okay, maybe I missed something there, I'll go back and fix that up. And maybe it's useful as a selling point, or maybe to provide the layers with more information. If you wanted to take something like a snapshot of this, you have either a print or a print preview button, so that would allow you to take it out as a file, and then you could put it with the documents. You'll see down here also, where I put transitions out onto that balcony area, it's actually punching out into the wall product. So there's another reason why walls are great. Sorry, not walls, transitions. You can punch material out, and of course, give yourself a more accurate view of what's going on quantity-wise. Okay, now we added an add-on into that carpet product initially. So we added an install in there. But let's say that now we think, heck, we forgot to put one of those add-ons in. We needed maybe weld rod on all those vinyl rooms. So what we could do here is come down to products, pick on maybe sheet vinyl 4 for a start. So let's scroll up here, sheet vinyl 4. So let's click on all those rooms. Then we could click on the add-on button, go down into add. We have a weld rod product somewhere. There it is, weld rod. So we'll do okay. So you can apply add-ons after the fact. It's just going to go through, figure out where all the joints are going, and therefore how much weld rod it needs. And there we go, weld rod. We're not seeing a quantity here, but we will on the worksheet in a moment, so look out for that soon. And then maybe, perhaps we decide, or we find out that some grinding is required in the equipment store 2 room. So we could just right-click, go into add-ons. So this is another way to get into add-ons when we're talking about a single room. Come down here into add, and let's put, where is it? Services and grinding. There it is. Cool, so that's that one sorted. And also we need to add a coving cap down onto these rooms. So we'll highlight all of those rooms. Control clicking or dragging to highlight will do. And let's go in here and add a coving cap. There we go. Fantastic, 61.56. So that'll be the perimeters minus all those doorways. All right, so let's move on to this final stage. So this is our completed project. So maybe now we want to go take a look at the worksheet. So let's see what our quantities are doing. So right up top here, we'll pop in a worksheet. And there we go. The reason we're getting little red flags on these products is we don't have any user waste in here. So these are tile products. There is an initial amount of waste calculated that's non-negotiable, just little bits and pieces that would get cut off. So maybe you look at this and think, thank you measure for reminding me. I'm going to go through and add 5% onto all of these, or whatever. Oops, not 50, that would be way too much. 5%. Okay, now I don't have any costs on any of the products in this project, so you could go through now and add them in, or maybe you want to add them in at the product level. That's up to you. So maybe using just this carpet product up here as an example, so we've got 100, then maybe we want to add our margin on. So let's say that was 30%. And maybe we want to apply that to everything. So there we go, we can apply margin to everything in the project. And you'll see now our grand total is updating down here. A couple of other ways we can express this information. So currently we're looking at it by product. We could come over to by room, and we could expand bedroom 317, or it would be level 3, room 17. And so this way we can see a room and what products do we have in there. So we have 4 instances of paint, paint 12, sheet vinyl, and wall panel number 3. We are only looking at the active sheet at the moment. In this particular demonstration, because the other sheets just represent different stages of the same project, clicking on all sheets would not obviously be a useful button to turn on, but if you had multiple floor levels, of course you might do that and get a scope of the entire project altogether. Maybe the next thing we do is move down to the print button at the bottom here. And just so you know, the print button at the bottom here is exactly the same as the print button that you have in File and then Print. 2 doors to the same room, so to speak. So if we open up the print view and we hit refresh, so we'll let it render the page. So at the moment I have room plan, scene plan, cut plan, and the worksheet turned on. So we'll just let that load for a moment. There we go. So my page size is set to A3 in this case. I know a lot of people prefer to print these projects out in A3 so that they can get the level of detail they like. So here we go. Here's the plan, a legend down the bottom as well. I don't have the walls showing. I had them before. If they were showing here, that would obviously, crowd it out and maybe make it illegible. We have a scene plan here as well, and then we move on to the role plans. So maybe on a big project like this, there would be far too much paper for you to want to print it out, so maybe you want to give it to your layers on iPads as PDF files, however you want to do that. We either have a print button or a PDF button up here. We printed out where is that again? We printed out this project earlier. So I'm going to open that up as a PDF and show you. So let me swap over to Adobe Reader. Okay, there we go. So this is a plan we printed out earlier out of this project. And what we have on this project, which is quite neat, is we have the elevation plan turned on. So that was one of the pages you can turn on. So what's quite neat about this, especially when you have lots of rooms with walls and stacks, you can see, okay, we're looking at resident kitchen number 5, and you can see a little model of the room. And on this wall, the left wall, here is what's going on with the walls. Green product and the blue product, you have a legend down the bottom, and you're going to get one of these for each of the rooms. So on a project like this, this does result in a lot of paper, so maybe you don't want to print out, physically print this out. This may be best saved for just a PDF file, but this does provide a fantastic way for the layers and installers to keep track of what's going on each of the walls in the room. And of course, because it's a PDF file, you can do whatever you want with it now. Send it to the client. Here we go. This one's probably a little bit more interesting. Okay, so I'm going to close that down and open Measure back up again. Just one final thing I'll point out to you. So as I was working on this project to get it ready for the webinar, something I turned on. So I'm going to go into Measure Options. And I think I pointed this out in the previous webinar, but I'm going to point it out again. So in the Save section, I have it backing up every 15 minutes, and I have this mode turned on. It's going to create backup of. So what this means is every 15 minutes, it's going to take this project, commercial webinar sample project, and it's going to copy that over. It'll append the word backup and then a date stamp at the end, and it's going to cap out at 2. So this gives me half an hour of progress to go back on if maybe I stuffed something up big time and I just needed to go back. No problem. Every 15 minutes, I'm getting backups created. So if it's a big project and you're concerned that, you obviously don't risk that you lose anything, then I would encourage going in and turning this on. Just one final thing to point out. All right, so that's our commercial project we wanted to take you through. So I'll just check if we've had any questions. If there was a question you wanted to ask, then please shoot that through now. So we'll just wait just a minute or two to see if anyone's typing anything through. Actually, just while that's happening, maybe a bit of a bonus point I might make. Something you may come across. So let me show you the layout mode. Okay, so we have a lot of rooms that use sheet vinyl 4, and something you may find. Not sure if it's happening in this case, but you might find that this particular piece of vinyl here might come from one part of the role plan, but then maybe this other one comes from another section of the role plan. And ideally, you would want rooms that are next to each other to approximately come from the same area of the role plan. So what we can do here, I see one question has been asked, so I'll get to that in a moment, is I'll just finish this off. So if you highlight these rooms here, maybe not the corridor, let's just click these ones here. If you highlight those rooms, you can come up into the room tab and you can group them together. And you'll see this option down here, rooms and group allocate together. So that's going to bias those rooms to be put beside each other on the role plan. So you might group your project out just to kind of ensure that things make it a little bit easier from a laying standpoint. Okay, there are a couple of questions that have been asked, but so if you've asked a question, I might follow up with you after the webinar to answer that. Okay, but aside from that, thank you everyone for joining. Please tune in again next week. The webinar topic for next week is project setup on Measure Mobile. So just some tips and tricks for how to set the project up, how to work with it. So Barry Galbraith will be taking that next week. Once again, thank you everybody for joining. This webinar will be up on YouTube in a day or two if you want to watch it again or go back and look at a particular part. And just a reminder that those questions that have been asked, I will follow up with you after the webinar. So thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.